Hello everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I did get us refueled off camera here, and we are going to be... Let's see here, I want to check... Oh, we don't have the decoupler for our engines here. Okay, that makes, I guess, a little bit more sense on what I'm seeing here. Okay, so we don't have a decoupler. We're going to have to carry these engines with us. That's an inefficiency. For some reason, I assumed that we would have that, but we need to enable crossfeed here. I've already gone through and refueled us, so that'll be fine. Yeah, I assumed we had the variant that did have a decoupler here. Okay, well, that's a mistake, but it's not a huge deal. So it should be fine. I've got that enabled, and because that was disabled, we're not actually seeing anything in this stage. And this should be combined together. Realistically, this should go down here. There we go. So this amount of delta V is now correct. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to get ourselves a... Let's see here. We're going to get ourselves a gravity assist around the moon. And that's going to be out over here-ish. What's that going to look like timing-wise? Reasonable-ish. Reasonable-ish. Come on, let me change your timing. There we go. That's looking a little bit better, but we're going to have to wait, I think, in orbit here, aren't we? Yeah, we're going to have to wait in orbit, but that's okay. No big deal there. This gravity assist looks reasonably solid. Oh, yeah. Oh, hang on. There we go. That looks good. Fantastic. So we're going to head over to our node here, and our thrust to weight is going to be way higher here. Actually, no, I already changed this. Never mind. I forgot that I did that off camera. I changed our thrust limiter to be down to roughly the same amount of thrust as this engine would have, although we can actually turn that up a little bit to like 15%. Cool. And that's just so that we have roughly equivalent thrust to weight across this whole burn. That's only 0.26. Okay. So we should turn it up to like 20% maybe. Let's see what it feels like at 20. Or rather looks like. We're still aligning for this burn. But let's just see what that's like. 0.34? This is going up. I don't know why this is going up, but 0.34 is probably okay. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and warp on around. Excellent. We're going to be carrying a little bit of extra weight that I didn't intend to with these mainsails, but that's what happens when you have so many variants of the same sort of launcher, and then you just grab one without checking. This will happen. Sure. So we've got about 95 seconds of burn here. Let's go ahead and physics warp towards this node. We're not quite on it, but let's bring that on around. Excellent. And we're about 20 seconds away from this burn starting. Make that 10. 3, 2, 1, mark. Excellent. So off we go. We can see our periapsis height is dropping here. The question is, will it dip down into the atmosphere? I kind of don't think so. I hope it won't. But we'll see. So we've only got a few seconds of burn left with our oxidizer that was left over here. And now we fire up our nuclear engine, which that didn't actually activate. Let's go ahead and activate it this way. There we go. And I guess we'll move this down into this phase and get rid of this one. Cool. So now we can see that our thrust is actually 0.09. That was very inaccurate. Okay, whatever. At least we had lower thrust to weight with the mainsails. Cool. So that's underway. We may not hit this gravity assist exactly because of our low thrust to weight. We'll see how that ends up going, but we are burning away on physics warp here. If we don't manage to nail that, then what we're going to do is we are going to just head out prograde. Like, I don't want to burn too far away from prograde here. Realistically, should we just go prograde? I kind of feel like we should just burn prograde here. and just say, you know what? We're probably not going to get this gravity assist with our low thrust to weight ratio, and call it good. Yeah, I think this is fine. If we happen to get this, great. If we don't happen to get it, it's fine. It'll only cost like 50 extra DV, and we should have plenty, so I'm not too concerned about that. Okay. So we've got about 6 minutes left in this burn, right? And with our physics warp, it'll go relatively quickly. Quickly-ish. 5.5 minutes. I'm going to pause the recording here, and I will be right back when we are a little closer to the end of this burn. See you guys in a bit. Okay, well, as expected, we didn't quite get the gravity assist that we were looking for. We ended up missing it. That's due to our low thrust to weight ratio. It's not a big deal. So we're out in escape trajectory here, and we're not going to Joule. We are setting ELU as our target. So, what is this inclination? 6.1 degrees. That's not too bad, actually. So we'll just go ahead and get that burn set up. 2, 1, and 0. Okay, so about 900 meters per second there. Looks good. Looks good. Our thrust to weight is definitely low. There's no doubt about that. But let's just continue to warp on over to this new node position. It's going to be about a 15-minute burn, apparently. That's a pretty lengthy one. But we'll go ahead and warp to this burn. Okay. Let's go. Goodbye, Kerbal, goodbye, Moon? Wait a second. Wait a second. Are we... Okay. This bug again. It changed our orbit again when we started warping. I hate it when it does that. We need to get rid of these maneuvers. At this periapsis, we need to burn a little prograde. Yeah, it's like 30 meters per second that we ended up losing there. I don't know why that happens. It's very strange, but we'll just align to our node here then. Oh, we're still in 5x time here. Let's just go ahead and physics warp now as we turn on over to the node. Very strange why that happens. I don't have an explanation for it. It must be something to do with some sort of a mod, where we have an escape trajectory, and it just goes away when we start warping. Very weird. But we're going to warp on in and just get ourselves a very small burn here. Wait a second. This is now showing as being like 100 meters per second. That doesn't seem right. No, that's not right at all. Escape trajectory here, or escape velocity here, rather, is like 20 meters per second. Okay. Now it's 2,000? I'm very confused by what's happening here. Okay. Why does it think that this is going to be 2,000 meters per second? It was literally just 20. We're coming around to the periapsis here. I'm just going to put it on prograde. The game is very confused right now. It warped past our destination burn as well. What is happening? Now it's 3,000. Okay, let's go ahead and just warp here. Oh, this is giving us an encounter with the moon now? Okay, sure. And now it's gone. I'm so confused by what's happening right now. We're going to warp down over here. And we're just going to not use the maneuver system for right now. We're going to go to prograde. And we're going to be at the periapsis in about 2 minutes right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and start burning here. I don't even know what's happening. But we're just going to push this out by about 20 meters per second. The game is very confused. There's no doubt about that. Let's push this on out. And hopefully this will give us the speed that we actually need. Okay, so here's escape trajectory part 2. Hopefully that's good enough. At this point, let's just warp up past Minmus. Okay, we're still on an escape trajectory. Good. So let's set Elu as our target. For the record, warping should not change our orbit like that. And it's very clear that the maneuver system was incredibly broken for a second there. Hopefully it's fixed now. So we're taking this down to about here. I want to change our node to be like, in terms of timing, over here, right? Actually, let's get rid of it. Right here. There we go. We're just going to redo that real quick. And nope, no radial. Get out of here, radial. That'll do. So 990 meters per second. Let's align for this node. This time is now going to be in 384 days. So we should actually go over to here, right? The other node. We now passed the descending node is the problem. So we're going to set up at the ascending node. And now we're going to burn this direction. Cool. 3, 2, 1, and there we go. That'll do. 1024? Okay. Not ideal in terms of delta V, but it'll do. We've got plenty in these side tanks, so we should be fine. Okay. So we're going to get aligned here. This burn is going to be in 177 days. And let's go ahead and come out of our physics warp here in a moment. There we go. And let's warp on forward. Cool. So, about 160 days now. 150. That's all looking good. I'm very confused. That's for sure. About what was going on. And it looks like our good opportunity of time for Elu has kind of passed. We'll see what the delta V for an intercept ends up looking like and where an intercept will end up being. That'll be interesting for sure. But we need to get our inclination change done first. 20 days to go on that. 10. Okay. We will warp on forward. I'm physics warping here so that we can get aligned on this node a little bit more accurately. But we've got about 20 seconds until our inclination change. 10 seconds. Okay. Commencing the burn. It's going to be a long one. A 16-minute burn. So that's going to be like 4 minutes in physics warp. That's definitely long. I would cut out this burn, but this video is already a little bit late. I was right in the path of the big winter storm that hit the US. Actually, it hasn't exactly hit me yet, but there has been some snow, and I'm a little bit delayed by snow clearance so far. But we're just going to burn this. It's fine. We've got about 14 minutes left, 900 meters per second to go. And we need to start thinking about what our interception with Elu is going to look like once we're done with this, right? So a hypothetical maneuver out over here. I'm actually going to quick save in case this breaks something. Okay. Quick saved, and a hypothetical maneuver out over here would end up doing something kind of like... I'm just wondering what timing is. Apparently it's broken. Sure, we'll just get rid of this. This is now broken as well. Well, we're just going to sit at this normal minus. We're going to get rid of this, and we'll just watch this descending node. Sure. I guess that's one way to do things. So the reason that it was broken was because it didn't seem to take into account the fact that we were burning, like, at the moment, as we speak. Fair enough. Fair enough. We're in the wrong inclination. So the real question is, where are we going to have to rendezvous with Elu? Will it be, like, up here? Will it be up here? Will it be all the way over here? Which would be ideal. We could wait for it to be over here. That's going to be a pretty long orbital period. It's a theoretical possibility. But we're bringing this descending node on down. We're now 3.2 degrees away. Excellent. I do wish that we weren't carrying these engines, but unfortunately we don't have a decoupler here. We had one on one of the variants, and I thought it was on this variant, but apparently not. Cool. So we're just burning this on through. We are about a third of the way through our strap-on fuel tanks. So we should have plenty of fuel to make this happen. Even, I think, if we have to rendezvous out here, because maneuvers here to here should not take that much more delta V, to be honest. So it should be reasonably similar to Joule. Not necessarily the same, a little bit higher, but reasonably similar. 2.1 degrees to go on our descending node. 2.0. Excellent. 1.9. It's going to be a bit yet, no doubt about that. Good thing we've got physics warp. That is all. Hopefully that Kerbal encounter doesn't become more of a thing. I think it's going to go away as our descending node gets further and further away from Kerbal's plane of orbit. It should be fine. We're now about 1.2 degrees away. 1.1. 1.0. Fantastic. So we're getting very close here to our inclination change being done. We've still got about 7,000 meters per second, 7 kilometers per second in this. So we've got lots and lots of fuel. 5, 4, 3. This is painfully slow. 2, 1. Okay, that'll do. We're going to come out of physics warp, and I'm going to quick save in case it breaks again. It shouldn't at this point. And we're going to start looking at what an encounter will look like. So, timing. That's actually kind of close. So this is definitely not necessarily an ideal transfer window. I think that's really clear. Hypothetically, what happens if we waited in orbit over here? Like, it would be a lot less delta V to transfer over here, right? So what would it end up looking like if we tried to target that? What would our transfer window be? So, we would need to add in an orbit and an orbit. That's pretty close. That's in 7 years. That is indeed pretty close. We could probably get there with some radial. Very awkward. Very awkward indeed. Or changing the timing. That could work. But let's see. I mean, this would be in 7 years, but this would be a pretty cheap transfer. That's an encounter. Is it a good encounter? Probably not. Our focus is not supposed to be dress. It's supposed to be Elu. There we go. Cool. So, I mean, it's not a great encounter, right? But it is an encounter. The timing is definitely going to be awkward. I want to get access to this maneuver again. Can I get in here? Apparently not. There we go. So, with changing the timing here, what we'd really like to do is pull this back to be like here, right? And then get this timing absolutely correct, which we're not going to do. But this is very close. However, What if we didn't want a time warp? What if we wanted to make it be as soon as possible? Well, we would push out over this direction, right? And that might be okay, fuel-wise. Pull this back to about here. Set that timing to be... these timings are still quite awkward. Oh, hello. No, I don't want that radial. Or rather, that normal. Get out of there. Okay. So. Where would this... No, I don't want the normal. Get out of here. I just want to change the timing. Where would the best timing be? It looks like it would be around here. So, if we were to pull this back ever so slightly... Hello. We're going to be going relatively quickly. What would that braking burn be? Yeah. That's kind of insane. Well, actually, that's only 1,400 meters per second. That felt like that would have been more. Fascinating. This seems relatively doable. I don't love our inclination, like the altitude at which we're coming in here. We could adjust that if I can actually open up this maneuver. From here, selecting the maneuver is very difficult. So we'd have to come out over here, select the maneuver from here, and then come back into here. But in theory, that's doable. So something along the lines of... That's really weird the way that this is feeling, but something along the lines of this would be kind of what we'd be going for, right? There's a pretty good curvature to our line here. We need to continue to dial this in. No doubt about it, but this is actually looking viable. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. Yeah, this is definitely looking viable here. So, something kind of like this. That should do. And then the braking burn there will be how much? In theory. Yeah, that would be fine. Let's do it. We'll align for this node, and this is going to be a very long burn, 36-minute long burn. And it's going to burn through all of our fuel here, but then we'll only need like 1,000 to do our braking burn at Elu. We should have more than enough to make this happen. It looks good. It definitely looks good. So let's go ahead and warp towards this burn. We're in physics warp right now. Let's go ahead and warp towards this burn the old-fashioned way. There we go. And we are going to commence this burn shortly. 20 days until we're ready for it. And about 1 minute now. We'll continue to warp on forward. A little bit further. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so we'll physics warp this burn, of course, and it's going to be a lengthy one. We're going to come back in the next episode, sometime around this decoupling, I think. That'll be absolutely fine. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Kentogan, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Spartan News, Unisoul, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video. And as always, I will see you all next time.